Welcome to the Books and Martinis podcast.
I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy.
And this is your go-to book podcast,
where we lift, empower, and spotlight authors.
Grab your martini and follow along.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
Hey, book lovers. This episode of Books and Martinis is brought to you by our wonderful sponsors. BlueBox Media, you dream it, we produce it. And Travel with Samantha Cividanes, specializing in luxury cruises. Ooh. Their support keeps the stories, authors, and conversations flowing. Don't forget to visit them and support the brands that support this podcast. Now the martinis are poured, let's get into the episode. What's up, everyone? Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy. Welcome, everybody. Most of all, welcome, Carly. I'm so excited you're here.
Carly, welcome back.
Here.
So excited.
Woo. I love it. I love it. And can I say, I love your lipstick color.
Oh, my God. Thank you.
That's
I know.
Beautiful.
It gives a lot.
Very bold, very Elizabeth Taylor, very Taylor Swift.
Thank
very
you.
Carly Robinson.
Thank
I'm
you.
loving it.
I will say
Loving.
It's hard to find. I have like olive skin tone, so it's hard to find a red that's more like bluish or like cool tones in the underneath versus like the orange yellow
Undertone, yeah.
Yeah, and so I found one, and I'm really happy with it.
It looks really
beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
That's why I wore it.
Let's talk
Really
about the
wins.
important things, right?
Yes,
100%.
yes.
100%.
So-
I have to tell you, Priya, wait. I just saw this meme that was out there. And it said, I need the perfect shade of red lipstick, and then I need to know whether I should go with the blue undertone or the green undertone. Then it says, should it be matte or should it be glossy? And then it continues, and it says, okay, now that we only have the women's attention to take over the world.
Because they'll be sleeping when they think about it. Yeah.
Like, oh, this is boring. Why am I getting this?
Exactly.
Keep it going.
Yes, yes.
I love it. So, anyway.
All right, guys. On the screen and in your ears is Carly Robbins.
Love it. Love it.
She is a voice actor, book narrator, actor, all-around performer, and we are so excited to have her back on our podcast because something major just happened. Something major just happened.
Yeah.
But before we even say that,
What was it?
let me say her. Let me share her bio real quick. Hold on, guys. Oh crap! I've just lost it. Hold on. I clicked on something. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. 1 second. Where'd you put your bio? Shit.
I can just tell you my bio.
Okay.
I'm just going to give it to. No, I could just give it to you. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
So I'll just do a freestyle.
So,
don't stress. Tell me,
Carly. Why don't you talk about yourself? Let's hear more about who Carly is.
I'll be honest. There is no actor on the planet that, when said, have somebody else talk about you or have you talk about you, every actor will say, I would love to talk about me.
I love that.
So, I have been narrating for over 10 years. I have narrated over 1,000 titles. I have worked in every genre. I have worked with all major publishers, a ton of smaller publishers, production houses, indie authors, you name it. I've probably done it. So I've been in, I think the name of the game actually for an audiobook narrator is longevity, because it's just the amount of time that you sustain yourself in the business. The projects, big and small, will come to you. Some years will be fantastic, and some years might not have like that big, huge book, but you're still working steadily. And so all of that really plays into it. And then before my life as an audiobook narrator, I was an actor. I moved to New York. I wanted to be a stage actor, and I really only made it as far as like off Broadway. I worked a lot in soap operas, doing like background and under fives when they still were in New York. It's what got me my union card, actually, was doing an under five on soap operas. I was a coat check girl, amongst other very crazy jobs just to pay the bills. And I was sort of trying to cobble together a career, and audiobooks kind of fell into my lap as another sort of offshoot of voiceovers, which I was starting to book some voiceover jobs. And I had heard those were great ways to like pay the bills, so you weren't completely exhausting yourself doing 12 other jobs just to make ends meet, where you could go in and do a 2-hour session for a voiceover job and maybe make your money for the month. And I realized it was sort of like the best job I could have ever hoped for. I didn't really have to see people, just a little booth. So I didn't have to deal with a lot of, personalities. And I got to perform the entire book. I got to like cradle the process of storytelling in my own hands. I could self-direct, which is sort of the way things are now. Although when I started, it wasn't exactly that way, but it quickly sort of turned. So that's another skill set you have to be able to foster, which is to be able to self-direct. And then doing character voices, the narrator voice, depending if the book is like first person or third person. So there's like a bit of grammar nerd that can kind of titillate you. And then bringing the words alive on the page so that they're acting, like you're breathing life into them. And then I got to do all of that. Although, now the business has changed so much. There's so many multicasts and dual narration and duet narration, and graphic audio does those sort of like audio experiences where it's like sort of like an audio drama, I guess would be the closest. So everybody's just doing their own line, and then there's special effects and all sorts of like sound things going on. And so the medium has just kind of exploded. And I'm a teeny tiny part of that because I've been in it for so long.
I love that.
Okay, you're welcome.
You're a huge part of it. You're a huge part of it.
Yes. I love that. Tell us. So we already know this. We just consider you friend, and we love you.
I know.
But
back
to
at
those
you.
that for those of you, for our listeners that are listening to you for the first time, who must live under a rock to not know you, tell us what a day doing your job looks like physically, like what it's like, that size, that part, that feeling.
Yes. So
that stress.
Oh my God, it's so much stress. So I am so lucky. I narrate around 120 audiobooks a year, which when I ask my fellow colleagues, that seems very high. But I do a lot of romance. And so a lot of those are like male POV, which is point of view, or female point of view. Those really require a lot of dual narration or duet narration where I'm just voicing the female characters and then they're just voicing the male characters. So it kind of goes in and out. And every day is kind of the Wild West. I plan my schedule months in advance sometimes. So if I've just finished a book, I'm literally waking up in the morning and I'm like, what am I doing today? Wow. Unless I've been, prepared and looked the night before. So anything from admin in the morning while I sort of warm my voice up, which is always hit or miss, especially as we're getting, out of like winter where there's always just sort of like a constant nose sniffle, which is really irritating. The thing about audiobooks, surprisingly, it's so technical. It's just you and a microphone. So the clothes that you're wearing, the food that you ate, the stuff that you've had to drink, whatever it is that interacts with your body can all have an effect on your narration. So,
really?
Yes, in crazy ways. So I'm only as good and efficient with my book if I can get it done fast and quickly, because you only get paid for the finished hour. And what that means, sometimes it's an acronym that's PFH, if anybody has seen that, and that means per finished hour. So if a book is 10 hours, but it takes you 30 hours to record it, you're only getting paid for 10. Yeah. Oh, it's basically like you're giving free labor.
Oh, wow.
So it is to your benefit to be as efficient as possible with your narration, to make as few mistakes as possible, to swallow as little as possible.
Like, how do you not do that? I'm constantly muting just here on the podcast just to swallow.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I know you say that and it's funny, but it's
granted.
Actually really true. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. I didn't realize, and also you kind of develop an even more intimate relationship with your body when you have to listen to it. So nobody wants to hear their body digest, but I have a really active stomach, and it is not active with some foods, which is only trial and error for you to figure it out. But you want to be in that sweet spot where you haven't overeaten and you like lose the day because your stomach is so crazy you can't get a word out. And you don't want to undereat so that it's growling because you're hungry.
You're
so
hungry,
it's like,
right.
It's just, you just have to become so intimate with your body functions that you understand it in like a new language. Yeah. And then everybody's got their thing, like what their lip balm is makes a difference because sometimes you can get mouth noises or squeaks or it gets stuck on your lips or stuck on your teeth.
Mouth. Or don't you get like pasty
mouth? Like you want to have the right humid but like dry environment so that your mouth isn't doing something weird. Some people do no dairy. Some people like to do an acid like a lemon or like an apple juice or things. You just have to sort of do a lot of trial and error to figure out like what works with your body. And that's just one of those crazy things. So yeah, there's a whole component. So I wear the same like 2 or 3 outfits all the time.
Well, nobody sees
so
you.
You're comfortable.
Nobody sees, but they do like when I'm out, like running to the grocery store, or, like I'm getting my morning coffee, and they're probably like, "Does that lady ever wear more than just 2 outfits?" But it's like my brain gets so tired because I'm just reading all day.
Who has time for outfits?
Who has time for outfits? I've become nobody. And so my fashion sense has plummeted. I don't know what it's like to be out in the real world. I don't know how to choose things for. Oh, it's really sad.
What are humans?
I know. So, but yes. So, and then also you want to wear clothes that are like tight fitting, but like loose enough that you can move, but they're not going to be too loose that if you like brush your arm weird, it's going to make a noise and then you have to redo that line again. So like you're trying to be like the fabric. So you're trying to be as like efficient and comfortable as possible, but also small. It's sort of like the microphone is kind of like where stage and film meet. So you have the intensity of what it takes to do film, but you have the endurance and full character capabilities of what it means to be on stage, right? But it's small and intimate. Okay, so I like a coffee. Some people don't do dairy, but that doesn't bother me. I do a coffee in the morning. I look at what I'm doing. I try to pick up around the house while like I'm trilling my lips, doing some of those like fun actor exercises. You guys are like trying to like get the vibrations going, wake up my mouth. Sometimes I do it with sound. Sometimes I do it without sound. I grew up performing musical theater, so I feel like I have a great understanding of my voice just innately in my body. And so sometimes I'll do scales. Sometimes I'll blow with a straw. That's a big favorite for some people. Sometimes I just kind of do funny, weird faces like, rah, rah, just to like wake them.
That's going to be in the promo.
100%. It's so attractive. So attractive. Use it all the time. No shame. So like that kind of stuff. So I'm warming it up while I'm having my coffee and I like a hot beverage like a tea. And then I also like a water, or I will do like an electrolyte water. So like a powder with like a Propel or a Gatorade or something. So I like 2 different kinds of drinks to help keep me in the booth. And then I come in, I check my email, see if there's any like last minute emergencies, like there was some pickup that didn't happen or this, blah, 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 something. My co-narrator is in the booth and they're like, how did you say this name? And they were like already late because something happened and they need an answer quickly. So I try to like keep up so that I'm a good collaborator and I can make people rest easy, or there's a producer that's like, I need this answer, something like that. So I check all that. Because that's also a big part of this is like everybody's on different schedules, and sometimes you get a script late, or sometimes the book before was, they told you it was only going to be 3 hours for your part, but it was actually 10 hours, which you did not account for in your schedule, and that's a lot more days. So now everything's like a domino effect, and you don't want to work late at night or on the weekends or like any of that kind of stuff. But that was the slot that you had, and then you booked things after it because that's how your schedule works. And so you just want to try and it's like I'm an athlete. I'm like disciplined and prepared and focused on the things that happen. Okay, so I do some admin stuff. Sometimes I warm up my voice by doing pickups, which are corrections. So every time you finish a book, you're given a packet back with a voice clip and then what the line is. And usually it'll have like a little bit before so you understand sort of where you were in the story. But they're pretty good, for me at least, of getting pickups within like a month of when you did the book. So I tend to remember where I was. But sometimes you don't remember a throwaway character or something like that. So it's helpful to get the character voice. And so then I do my pickups, and then it's only like a line, so I don't have to, I just sort of warm everything up. And then sometimes I do an audition. If I get an audition, things are auditions. Sometimes I get direct offers for books. Sometimes I'm on a short list for a book. Sometimes I'm on both and they still want an audition. So sometimes I'll just bang out an audition because then it's like a short kind of thing, generally 5-ish
I'm
minutes.
surprised you still have to do a lot of, do you have to do a
Do you
lot
know
of
what's
auditions?
crazy? So this is a part of the business that has totally changed. So back in the day, you were just given a book. Authors didn't know who their narrator was. They probably didn't care who their narrator was. They just left it up to the producer, which is a little different than in other forms of entertainment where you have like a casting director. The producer is kind of a casting director, but also sees the project from beginning to end, producing the whole thing. So they kind of are in charge of that. So it's a little different. So when I use the word producer, it could also mean the person who hired me from the publishing house or the production house, which is a little different. So publishers, like a Penguin Random House or a HarperCollins or something, is different than a production house, which isn't a publisher. They're not publishing books, but they may work with the rights holder to do the full production of the book. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So like if I'm an author and none of the publishers wanted my book, I still want to get it produced. I'm going to pay for it myself. And I want to do a simultaneous release and I want to have control over the whole thing and I know exactly who I want to hire. They will go to a production house like a Lyric or a Blue Nose Audio or a One Night Stand, or they could sell it to somebody like a Podium who will buy the rights. And I'm not sure exactly how their contracts work, but they'll either then just pay you for the audio rights or they'll do the production. So there's like a combination of things that you could do. So that's like a Podium or a Blackstone or something like that, which is totally different than like a HarperCollins, who probably when they signed you are going to retain the audio rights for 7 years, and then they can decide whether or not they want to produce the audio. And if they decide not to, those rights generally go back to the author. So sometimes I get hired for a back title. So something that has been out for a while, but they were never able to make it into an audio. And then the author retains that right and they'll give it back to me. So it comes to me from so many different ways. And then essentially they're partnering you with a co-narrator or no co-narrator if it's a solo narration. And then we're figuring out scheduling and then off I go. And then whenever the script is ready, they give that to me. So I'm probably looking at my schedule, checking over whether or not I have the script, which sometimes happens or doesn't happen because there are always delays. We're only human. And so it's gotten a little bit more frequent because, like I said, the business has changed. Oh, you had asked me about auditioning. So back in the day, they used to just give you a book because it was a small, tiny little business.
Yeah.
And now it's a huge business.
Now it matters.
It
really matters.
Also, I think it evolved organically that people realized that narration was a skill. It wasn't, it was always a skill, but it's changed. And I think for a number of reasons. I think people listen to podcasts. I think they listen to reality television. I think they listen to a lot of casual talking in their ears and have gotten used to it, because audiobook narration used to be sort of with like what I would call like an affected speech. They would say something like Tuesday. Like it had sort of like, it almost dramatic. Sort of like very dramatic, or like a mid-Atlantic, like an old-fashioned kind of,
like the old movies when you start off like thousands of years ago in a far-off galaxy.
and that's just kind of not, I mean, there are some books that are still narrated that way, but for the most part, it's sort of evolved. And I think along with that, authors realized, there could be money in audio, because that wasn't the case. Audio was like a secondary, and they were so expensive. You would have to go to the library to get your audiobook because it was so expensive to buy it in the like a Barnes and Noble. It was like $100 to get
there was no Audible.
Right, exactly. And that's
Spotify.
really what and made it easy, because you had a smartphone and you could just do it instead of carrying around like a tape recorder or a CD player. And then there were like 20 CDs and it was so expensive to produce. And so they've really been able to reduce the cost. And then they realized some people really enjoy reading the book and also listening at the same time. They want it to be elevated. They want somebody to read to them, but they also like reading it. So
that's me.
I think as that kind of evolved, people got used to narrators. They didn't want somebody that would sort of like pop in and out because surprisingly, it is not easy to narrate a book.
Hey, book lovers and martini sippers, it's Books and Martinis, and we've got something special for you this month.
That's right. Our April author spotlight is the incredible Khaya Fraites and her debut novel, Rip LOL.
It's sharp, it's funny, and just the right amount of chaotic. We are obsessed.
Hi everyone, I'm Khaya Fraites, and I'm so excited for you all to dive into Rip LOL. I hope you love reading it as much as I love writing it.
It's out April 17th. Make sure you grab your copy and read along with us all month long.
And don't forget to join the conversation only on Books and Martinis.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And so I think
anybody that would listen to one could imagine how much work it takes.
Well, I don't think they do. I think they're like, really? I read to my kids, or like I read out loud, but if you were to sit,
come on.
If you were to sit
to act.
And it's not just that, you don't realize how you phrase a sentence until you're doing it for more than 10 minutes. Like literally take a book from your shelf, time yourself, and see if you can sustain reading for 10 minutes and keep the same intensity, it's an endurance sport. It really is. If you are able to storytell and capture attention that way, and you'll realize, oh my God, I say my sentence is really weird. Like some people go up at the end of a sentence, or they like phrase it differently, or they didn't get enough of a breath. So they like make a weird thing and then the sentence doesn't make sense. And so I think a lot of newer narrators, that's just part of the evolution of like figuring out how to be a great audiobook narrator. I certainly, did that in the beginning. And you realize, hopefully you're a quick learner because you want to keep getting hired.
Move up.
And so I think they realize like, oh, there are people who are just doing this. Because the rest of voiceovers kind of crashed and burned. Most of that work is non-union. It pays very little. You can't sustain a living doing it. There's just not enough because the egos that be, completely blew up ABC, NBC, CBS, all of our channels. Everything went to streaming. So none of the actor contracts were valid anymore because it was a different way that it was getting distributed. They didn't have commercials anymore. They don't have the same ads anymore. Like all of that just really impacted where voice actors were getting work. And so I think once they realized that a narrator voice could be something like what's called a one-click. Maybe you've heard that term before. So I have so many. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to tell you. So there are fans that will say you're a one-click narrator for me because they know that even if it's an author they don't know, if I got hired, they're going to be safe with me delivering a story for them.
Definitely.
So they call me a one-click. Yeah.
Well, that's actually where I was going with the question about auditions because you have to audition. So
now that there is so much choice, and even if you're on a short list, they want to hear you and be able to decide. And I think more authors, rightly so, are asking in their contracts to have narrator approval. And I think that they should. They should. Why not?
And
it's like standard now.
I agree.
100%.
Because I feel that the voice actor can either make it or break it. You can make a story so
100%.
beautiful and intense, or you can just kill it. But so let me tell you.
Well, I will tell you. Wait.
Part.
Totally, but let me just also challenge you. I also hear that so many old-fashioned, or I would say maybe conventional listeners, don't like too much emotion. They just want it read to them. Yes, it is an ever-evolving, dynamic industry of how audiobooks are told and sold and narrated. Okay, so sorry, go ahead. Yes, question.
No. So I was going to tell you, I love reading the book while I'm listening to it.
Yes, that's a thing.
Because my attention span is all over the place from having kids and working and just being used to doing so much. My brain is going way faster than I can possibly read it. So I listen to my audiobook at double speed.
Yes.
Always.
So you are not alone.
I follow the book
I hear
at double
you.
speed.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay, how many of us?
I can't listen to somebody speaking like
hear
this with a story because
how boring
then
they
I
are.
just walk away.
Yeah,
I've got to listen to them really fast and tell me I want to get to the point.
I'm simultaneously sad that our lives, mine too, I'm not immune to this. We are just constantly multitasking. Like we have no downtime to just, as I like to say, stare at a wall and do nothing.
Yeah. We're not bored anymore.
We don't have any boredom. And I also notice when I'm watching television, I have the subtitles on because I don't know what it is, but like our sound bar, I just can't hear anything. Television is bad. Television is not made well anymore. You can't hear anything. And you have these big fancy sound bars, but they don't actually deliver any sound in a way that so I have to have the subtitles on.
Clear. Right. I agree.
And I'm usually on my phone. So I'm like simultaneously, it's going to take a lot for me to actually watch the show. And in fact, it does happen. I feel like the powers that be who are making great television are paying attention and they're giving complicated things. And I'm like, okay, I'm putting my phone down for this one. I got to pay attention.
What happened?
It has to be really good to put down your phone.
100%. And I hear all the time that for so many people, what they miss is just being able to sit down and read a book and like escape from being a parent or going to work or, being like the sandwich period where you've got young kids and then old parents, or whether or not you have children, just wherever you are in your life, how complicated that is. And so they like to pop in their AirPods while they're doing the dishes or they're doing the laundry or they're doing household chores while kids are doing homework or they're walking their dog or whatever it is. And that is their me time to read books because that was the thing that was getting sacrificed for them was the escape. Yeah, tell me. Go ahead.
Crazy. So do you know that when you're listening to, when you have you're on Instagram and you're watching a reel, that you can press it so it's double time? I watch my reels like this.
That's so smart.
Yeah. What?
It's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you can go, to
show
Instagram.
Me where. Okay, I'm going to Instagram.
I'll show you this. Okay. So you go to Instagram, right?
I generally don't do reels because it's so much noise. I just look at posts.
So it's
Tell
this,
me.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're listening to it,
let
me see. Let me find one that has it. It usually has to have like all the little things on the side. Let's see if I see one. Okay, it's not showing them anymore. Maybe
that's okay.
Just click on the reel.
Anyway, so I would just press it. You can
it would go on like fast forward. Amazing.
And it goes on double speed. The whole video goes on double speed with sound. So I was going through it like that, and it was like, okay, great. I can
get through more, twice as much. Yeah.
But how are you even absorbing anything?
She's not. She's just keeping up. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
I'm mostly doing it to support. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm supporting my fellow narrators. I'm supporting authors. I'm just liking a release. I really try not to use social media for personal things because I don't want to rewire my brain so that I can't be bored
I use it
anymore.
For books myself. Yeah. But I have to, oh my goodness, Carly, I have to tell you, it's just crazy. And because we have so many different authors, right? So when we have moments like with you, it's like, oh, great. We're not talking about a specific book, right? We're just have a great time.
Although we have to get to some
We
book
do have some books. That's right.
Oh, absolutely. But I didn't have to read a book to talk to you.
Yeah.
When it's a new author, it's not even a book that's been released that I really wanted to read.
Yeah.
This is just an author that we're just reading their book so we can interview them. And I have that commitment of that pile of books, right, that they've so graciously gifted us so that we can read it and be prepared. And then we have our book club books, and then we have the books we want to read. Mm. So if I don't do it in double speed, I'm never going to get to one of those piles. And I want to read my book. And so that's where I find myself.
I couldn't tell you the last book I read for pleasure, just without any, because also I get tired of reading.
Well, I find that my pleasure books are audio because those are the ones I can multitask. I can go to the gym, I can clean the bathroom, I can cook dinner, go for a walk, and I can listen to it and enjoy it that way, you know?
And so can I tell you, now that we're talking about books, that one of my favorite books I've read this year, mind you, we're only in March, but I've already read a handful of books, was The Correspondent.
Oh.
Yes.
What a book.
I know.
What a book. How did you feel when you read that book for the first time? Because I had no clue what the book was about.
Same.
And I purchased the actual physical book. I was going to read it, and I started reading it. It sounded beautiful. And then on my phone popped up, oh, you have 1 credit. I'm like, oh, okay. So on my Audible, so I said, okay, well, I'll listen to it. What a beautiful book.
What a beautiful
book.
an
incredible job you did. I mean, I think the team that they had in the book was really something special.
Yeah.
But why don't we tell her
from an incredible book. So Carly, talk to us about this book.
Well, tell us what the book is about first. Are you, or would you like to tell
Carly's a professional.
Oh, okay.
Tell us.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what the book is
about.
Be prepared to be professionalized right now. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So a couple of things. One, this book was produced by Penguin Random House. It is from a debut author whose name is Virginia Evans. And I had met the producer, who wound up also being the director for the book, 7 years ago at a industry event. And we were doing like a little meet and greet something. And she never hired me. I never had worked with her before. And this just is an example for you of what it takes to be a career narrator. And like, if anyone tells you they're not hustling or like things just come to them, it's just not true. Just to have a sustained career. So I'm giving you a little insight.
Your networking world.
Yeah. And also like what it takes to really, stay on top of things, and then how you don't know how things might come back around for you. Or even if you think, like, I've gotten to a certain status level, I've won awards, I've been, on some really big books. Like, even me, it's still work every day. Nothing comes easy. Everything is work. Okay, so I met her 7 years ago. I had yet to ever work with her. I happened to, I remember. I had narrated Variations by Rebecca Yarros, who wrote the Empyrean series, Fourth Wing. I have narrated for her like 12 times on her contemporary romance. From her very first book. So back in like I think it was like 2014 or 2015 or something like that. Her very first book was one of my first books to narrate, and she just has continuously hired me, which is fantastic. And of course, she has become a global superstar. And so I had her latest contemporary romance. She cast me again, thankfully. And we won an Earphones Award, which is an award given out from Audiophile magazine, which is like an industry standard for reviewing and talking about audiobooks. It's been around forever. They just got bought by Kirkus. So it's like they're having a merging. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be in the end. It's not going to be called Audiophile. It's probably going to just be called Kirkus Reviews. And I think they said they're going to still do Earphones Awards, but regardless, it's a high honor. Narrators.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, so I had that, and I was like, oh, it's a time to reach out to people and like fluff myself a little bit, right? Like,
absolutely.
I just won an Earphones Award for this. I earned it. And I happened to send my once or twice a year follow-up to that producer, right? One would think you would give up after 7 years.
No,
not me.
Wait,
not
so
me.
every year you're sending her a note like, hey, I'm still
couple
alive?
of times a year. Yeah, and like, here's what I've been up to, and hopefully one day we'll get a chance to work together. Short, sweet. I'm not sending her, pages and pages, probably a couple of lines. She's very busy. She doesn't need to know all of that, but maybe just to know I'm alive. And here's a couple of projects I was proud of. Send some, links, like a hyperlink kind of thing. And, bing, bang, done. And so I just got an Earphone Award for this project. And she was always very kind, always wrote back, but it was never a job. And she said, I actually have the perfect project for you. And it was The Correspondent. And particular, something about it to be the daughter. She gave me a handful of other smaller roles, but it was to be that. And this was a debut author. It was not supposed to be any kind of book. People thought it was like a special book. She thought it was when she read it. But I don't think they had any idea that it was going to be the book that everybody talked about. And I think some of that has to do with cultural timing. People are hungering for something sweet. People love redemption stories, or at least that's what really resonated with me about this. And it has a conceit, right? It's in how do they say the word? Epistolary, which is the book is written in letter form, so it's letters back and forth. Where you would think like, ooh.
Yes.
No, thank you. But
Right.
it is
It was
so
easy to
beautiful.
digest. It was easy to digest.
And
like,
actually
listen to.
flowed. Do you know what's so funny? I had done, do you know Meg Cabot? I'm going to take you on a little detour, and then I'm going to bring you back around, so stay with me. Do you know the author Meg Cabot? She did the Princess Diaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
I got hired a handful of years ago to do some books of hers where she wrote them in emails. So it's very similar to The Correspondent, actually. And it was the most delightful experience I had ever had because it was such an acting challenge to alert because it was never like narrator voice. It was only emails written by people. Right? And so we had to shorten like to so-and-so from so-and-so. And then we had a lot of debate if it's, you know, that when you reply to something, it says RE. So I guess the RE initially came from like a Latin in re was what it was supposed to be. But everybody just says it as reply. So then we had a huge debate about like me with the producers about like, well, if I say
what do we call it?
In re, nobody's going to know what that means because that's not what, even though it's accurate, nobody's going to know unless you just say reply. And so we don't want to lose. We're looking for like the listenability, and also language evolves. Anyways, that was like a small fun thing to have to think about is like the evolution of words and emails. And anyway, so I had that experience of just doing which is essentially letter writing, but they were emails. And I loved those books. Oh my goodness, they were so good. And so when she told me, I was like, I guess that sounds great. And then because it's not a very long book, and there were so many of us, and my characters maybe only were, I don't know, 20 pages or something like that, you can just read your pages. You're not interacting with other, actors or things like that. But you had to read a little bit to sort of understand where you were.
Right.
I started on page 1, and in one full sitting read the whole thing. And I was like, what did I just read? This is the most charming and like honest book and very sweet and vulnerable and also like so many parts. It was like, it was so charming. She was so charming to write to. So basically the book is an octogenarian and her preferred way to communicate is through written letters. And she writes to everybody. She writes
about everything.
About everything. She writes to neighbors. She writes to children. She writes to authors. And I was like, they're not going to really have the authors write back. And Virginia did. She chose. And they were so beautiful. And you also are like, is she nuts or is she just eccentric? Yeah, eccentric.
Right.
And really she's just so charming. And also for me, the overriding like understanding of the book for me, what I took away was is sort of, it's like it's never too late for the things that you regret to bring peace about them or to have, look back towards this last chapter of your life and sort of maybe be honest about some of the things that you wish you had done differently and that there's still time to correct those things.
And how crazy that at that age she's still learning, right?
Yes. And that it's not too late, ever.
That it's never too late.
And that you couldn't do it before. She couldn't do it before now. But she could now. And in particular, her relationship with her daughter. There was a tragedy in their life.
You played
which
young
I played.
Sybil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you also play Fiona and Shelley, right?
I know there's little girls in there, right? That you played a couple younger characters.
My God. What characters did I didn't realize there was a test.
No.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
You're right.
Not asking you. You're good. I got you. I know that you played Fiona.
Yeah.
Sybil and Shelley.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank goodness. Yeah. No, it was so that book.
And I tell you that as a fan. Because when I was going to listen to it and I knew that you were part of it, I'm like, okay, I want to know when she's talking.
When she's talking, I was constantly listening for you. Like,
that's your phone. On your phone. On my phone. I appreciate that. No, so for me, you asked me, like, how did it come to me? So I tell that story about the 7 years it took me just to get on the book. Because that's sometimes how things happen. Sometimes circuitous routes are taken or... some things come easy, some things don't. And it's just the way life is. And so you have to really try to quiet the noise of your ego and just realize it's work for everyone. If it's work for me, then it's work for somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's just, I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me about this book. People in my building, I live in an apartment building, they're like, I'm listening to you on the Correspondent. And I was like,
"Aww,
yeah.
Do you know who I am?" So tell us about where playing this part on this book took you. What you earned
from
that.
So I'm a mom, and one of the things I spiral about often are the mistakes I'm going to make with my daughter. That will be, I might think are not big things, but for her they will be big things that change the way she looks at herself and how she looks at the world. Right. And I really took to heart that it's never too late to mend those fractured relationships. If you're honest about your participation in them and what you're going to do after. So it's actually, it's something
I take responsibility for it, right? Because I believe the daughter was just waiting for her to actually take responsibility.
Yeah. And also for the daughter to understand how much pain the mom was in and how limited she was able to provide that for her daughter.
Right.
That she just wasn't able at the time to give her daughter what she needed. And that is a terrible feeling for a child to have about their parent, right? Because
Except that's when we remind, everybody, that the mom is human, that the mom was also a little girl, and that the mom's going through her own trauma of losing a child. And I mean, there's just so much complexity in life, right? And, that was a good book.
So good. My husband and I talk about it all the time. Like, I don't know how you get past losing a child. I don't know.
Can't imagine.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. You can't get past that. It's just you're growing and not even
just move on, but it's
just
still
moving on. Yeah.
Especially if you have another child. Yeah. How you openly grieve and still have enough for the child that's still there. Yeah.
In full honesty, going into the book, you can see that I think every mother has had that moment when your child is talking to you. But look, I'm doing this. And you're like, okay, because you have so many other things going on.
Yes.
And you're either, looking at something that's in
dealing
the
with your own life things. Yes. Or you got like an email about a work thing. Yes. This is what I'm saying. So
but look, I'm jumping. And you're like, okay, because he was jumping from a box, but now it's jumping from the,
and he just did it an hour ago. I know. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Like
I can see it happening
so easily. And that's what I was saying, like when we started this, that like I, as a parent now, I'm constantly thinking, like, is this the moment where she's going to be like, my mom didn't pay attention to me, but mom was dealing with her own thing? You just don't know what's going to stick with them or not. Anyway, so I definitely, I think universal understanding that it happens for everybody, I think is so important for you to see yourself reflected in something else that came from someone else's brain. Yeah. That you're just like, oh my God, we're all just the same. And maybe there's, I'm just doing my best. And so I remind my daughter all the time, mom's just doing her best. And sometimes she says, do better, which is a tough pill to swallow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what did I miss? Tell me, what did I miss? Where did I mess up?
Sometimes you got to do better. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is your first time, right? Being a mom. I mean, it's not like anybody trains us. And then it's just, we could go on this topic forever. I want to know how you felt when you heard that
you were nominated.
This was happening for you. You were being nominated.
Listen, it has been,
then you won the ensemble.
It has been a whirlwind year because we have made it on so many lists. We were on the Audible Best of list. We were on the Audiophile magazine, the same one I mentioned before. That's now Kirkus. Right. We got it. We won an Earphones Award. We're up for audiobook. They only have one category for the LA Times does their big book fest all year. We were nominated for the Libby Awards. Like, we have made it on so many lists. And
with that one book.
It has felt great. I mean, absolutely great.
Awesome.
It's hard not to have the imposter syndrome, to be like,
am I really that good?
Am I really?
Are you sure? Are you sure you want to nominate me?
Or
you are that good, Carly,
or like
you should be so proud.
Thank you.
You
Or like,
really
does my
are.
industry think that way? Or people like, oh, she doesn't deserve it for that? Because we're all still human. We're all still actors. Actors are very sensitive. Everybody, of course, is like, I didn't get nominated, and that's shitty. I've felt that way. Ooh, sorry.
Sure.
It's a terrible feeling to not get recognized when you feel like sometimes you're doing your best work, and it's a book that nobody cares about. So I understand all of that. I take it with a little bit of humility. But also when you get a win, like, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It sure is. And well deserved.
Well deserved. My one of my girlfriends who's been narrating, I think as long as I have, maybe she started even a little before me, Bailey Carr, was sitting next to me at the Audie Awards, and she filmed it when my category came. She was so sweet.
Your joy was so palpable. Like, I just watched it a couple times just to see you be like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was awesome. There's no other word about it. It's just awesome. And, I DM the author all the time just to, let her know, like, when we won something, because people tag me or something. And I'm sure she is having, an incredible year. I'm sure the pressure for her second book must be extraordinary. I can't even imagine how you do something like that, because sometimes it's lightning in a bottle and you can't predict it, and it's just what it is, and it doesn't mean...
And you don't
anything.
know what's going to hit like that and what's not, right?
So enjoy the win for what it is. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. If you had to guess, what's going to be the next book of that caliber?
Mercy's book.
No,
Wait, what did you say?
Mercy's book.
Are you writing a book?
Yes.
Yes.
She has a professional editor going over it right now.
What?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's the genre? I didn't know this.
It's a memoir.
Oh, are you going
to narrate? It's like
narrate?
fiction, though, but it's fiction.
Yes.
Are you going to narrate?
I'd love to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Mercy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, it can't be me because I can't read.
You know what? No, but you have the Puerto Rican accent going on. It makes total sense. Who's going to duplicate your Puerto Rican accent?
Not me.
Spanglish. You need somebody to do Spanglish for you.
I don't know.
Forget mine. Mine's not even out. Okay, fair.
But
I mean, I don't know.
From what's out there,
feel like
with
from what's
the
out
talk,
there,
you have the talk happening.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that there are a handful of authors that are perennially on best of lists. I don't know that their works are always of that caliber, but they're easy, wonderful things that people digest. So I think sometimes you can't predict what's going to be something like this because that author isn't out there yet,
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I mean, how can you predict when a Gone Girl is going to come out or a Correspondent is going to come out? Or those were first-time books. Yeah, they got to have a point of view and also I mean, I don't even know. I get cast in things, and sometimes it's authors I know or don't know, and sometimes they're like, this one's going to be big, and it just kind of does okay. And sometimes you get cast and you have no idea, and this one is like, what the is happening? Like, why is this book everywhere? That happens too.
Yeah.
So I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. I'm sorry, I don't have one.
Well, that's why people don't. You just click on your name and see what
follow
pops
and
up.
click on. I know. Listen, I think storytelling is such a phenomenal escape. I think having the intimacy of an audiobook has really elevated the craft in a way. And I'm just thankful we have jobs. And I hope we continue to have jobs. I don't know.
Well, you are changing lives because books are life-changing.
Yeah, I think
right?
so.
They give you different experiences. And listening to a book can sometimes be a bigger impact than actually reading a book.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, what you're doing, your voice stays with people.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing and a beautiful service. And, I know you don't see it because you're in your little booth.
Sometimes,
and you have cheerleaders.
I know. And sometimes I get to go to book events and meet fans. And they tell me the same kind of things, and it's there's nothing better. I mean, it's just it's just so special. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell you, sometimes I'll just be on my phone and Priya's like, yo, look at Carly. I'm like, what happened? She goes, look, she just so we're like, oh my God. And we're like having our own party.
We need time on the podcast again.
Fighting.
I mean,
I'm like, okay,
listen,
that's it. Everybody has to read the book because she narrated it.
And it was Kismet. It was Kismet that we're featuring the book for our book club.
I know.
Yes. And
things like that. Like, how could you?
Ladies,
you can't predict these kinds of things. Yes, you can't predict them. You cannot predict them. I know. So special.
Well, on that note, okay, I'll edit this part, but you have to go soon. So we're going to wrap.
Perfect.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, my God. It goes by like that. Like that.
Yes, I know.
We are so excited for you, Carly, and we're so grateful for that you're going to be joining book club this month. At the end of the month, our book clubbers are so excited. They're chatting about it in our WhatsApp. So make sure you bring your martini. And for everybody listening, click on her name. When you're on Audible, Spotify, any of those platforms, Libby, click on her name and find out the books.
Find Carly Robbins. Yeah.
And I will also say, it gives us social capital. Follow on Instagram and all social media platforms. I cannot tell you how important it is. It means so much. It seems silly and small. And I know sometimes people are like, I'm not going to follow that person, or just do it. It means so much for our industry and gives us social capital, and it gives us legitimacy, and it's just so important. So
absolutely,
not just me, but any narrator. Half the time people are like, I didn't know you narrated that. And I'm like, you should pay attention. If the book meant that much to you, you should know who I am.
I agree. On that note, we're going to keep you very
one
memorable
last cheers. One last cheers. Cheers to you, Carly Robbins.
Cheers. Cheers.
Carly, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see you at book club.
I know, me too.
I'm so excited. And share you with all the other ladies.
Oh, I can't wait.
We have a very interesting
group, but we're going to share you. Yes.
Listen, it takes a special kind of personality to want to be in a book club. We all know. We all know.
We all know that. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Carly.
Thank you guys.
So much.
Like, share, follow. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye, Carly. Thank you again.